classic way of getting this done. All right. For those of you who are normally just here for the Poked Out podcast, it is not a podcast event. Well, I mean, it's more of an interview type beat, so maybe I'll take what you want. But it is different. We have been working on a song for a while that I've been kind of tinkering with for some time. And then Julie was over and was like, hey. I was like, I was the one that was like, hey, let's sit down and write some lyrics. So for those of you who don't know, this is Julie. This is a good friend of ours, moderator, always in the chat, good supporter of ours. This is a song release interview, pretty much. The song is coming out November 17th. It is called Savior to Villain. We have a short video to play. Let's show them the small clip that we made.
That euphoric feeling that we felt, that spark you gave me was so addicting. I fell in love with you being a savior, but you turned into my villain.
Good job. Well, woo. Let's get it. But yeah, so that is a small snippet of the song. Like I said, the full thing was gonna be November 17th, which is literally next Friday. It's been crazy. And so backtracking to what I said, we worked on the lyrics together, but it was mainly Julie. I kind of just took what she said and formulated it into the way that it is. Julie, first things first, do you think that the song is pretty cool? Do you like what are your thoughts on the song genuinely?
There's some parts that I'm iffy on because it's not really my style exactly, but it's still really nice. It made a lot more sense when Steven had said it was kind of like a poetry song. And then I was like, okay, yeah, full send. So I like it. Good beats, sad ass like words.
Yeah, like she said, it's definitely out there. It's not. I really don't even know what to put it into terms of like what kind of genre, because it's not. It's a song, but then it isn't. There's no really rhyme rhythm to the actual lyrics. It's more of just listen with a bunch of drums in the background, and we're making other things to it. So it is something new, but I kind of like new. That's why I was like, I'm okay with doing all of this, and we were able to just create something that was pretty much out there.
I mean, if anything, it's kind of like an underground poetry. If anything, if you're trying to make it into like a genre.
So yeah, you're actually honestly right. So there is one thing that I kind of want to explain about this, because when we were making this song, I told you that because this isn't gonna be. It's almost like bad therapy. You're kind of revisiting everything that's went in your past, and you're trying to formulate it into something that I can explain, or we can explain it and understand it. You know what I mean? Into a formulaic way of poetry, and that is pretty cool. But what was something that was kind of challenging for you to have in these lyrics?
It was just remembering the way that it hurt, the way that it felt. Because, like, I mean, when you're growing up, you don't think of it as like you're gonna go through this heartbreak. You're not gonna hurt this much, and then it finally actually happens, and it's like your whole entire world crumbles down, and it just sucks. So I wanted, I wanted people to relate to this. Like, I don't want them to know the feeling, but people do know the feeling, and I want people to be able to relate and know that they're not alone in this, and that they are not crazy for the way that they feel. Because heartbreaks hurt. Even if it was your decision, it still hurts. So, I want them to know that they're not alone.
Now, for someone that's not really familiar with doing any of this, poetry, music, any of this stuff, Was it kind of cool for the creative process as you were like kind of like witnessing it?
So it was very interesting because when you first talked to me about this, we were chatting, we were fucking around, doing our own thing. Um, and then my brain rambled on, and then your brain rambled on, and you were like, we should do a song. Like, I need you. So like I would I didn't expect for it to go like this. Because I think in the beginning we weren't trying to have it be like this. It just turned into that after a long time.
It was almost like half like kind of like, yeah, okay, I guess we'll do it. And then it's like, oh, we're actually doing it. Like this is actually like, whoa, okay, I guess we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fun part to me. That's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we literally sat down and then we were kind of just like, so, okay, well, what are we going through at the moment? What's something that we're feeling though? Are we feeling sad? Okay, if what it is, blah blah blah. We kind of just resulted in STEM, had a creative
Yeah.
process, just wrote out everything, and then kind of formulated down to some of these lines. Is there any specific line or any of the ones that made it the final cut that you actually like? Nice.
There's a lot that made it that is not shown that has really hit a spot for me. And
Mm.
I was like, wow, that actually came out. Okay.
Like, okay, we're actually gonna be talking about this.
Wow, we're actually doing this. All right, cool. And so, I don't know. I mean, in the beginning, we weren't even thinking that this was even going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
that this wasn't really going to be released. It was just kind of something like we were messing around with.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, we turned it into reality. They're like, whatever. It's
Tapped into our feelings, and we were like, okay, this is
this is
legit.
real. So it turned into something important for me, as I know it did for you, as I would think so. um, but I'm really glad that there was a lot of lyrics that came out into a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
No, yeah,
It's
you're totally fine. When we were recording, you pretty much saying this poetry. I do remember we were like, should we make it into like an actual lyrical rhyming song? And to me, when we were kind of like writing more and we were kind of like one sentence turned to one paragraph turned into three paragraphs, and then we were saying, we were just saying it, and we were just kind of diving deeper and diving deeper. And to me, it was just more of like the way you were speaking it, the way you were saying it, and the way it was recorded. I was like, that's kind of pushing it more than us kind of going for the rhyming side of things, and just saying, the same story, but with a little bit more polish to it. This kind of gives it, I don't know, to me, it gives it a little bit more dramaticness of it, kind of adds a little bit of a tense to it, because you keep on just saying these other things that just continuously push the idea of like how we really felt. Like you kind of, it opens a window for us to see what you're trying to explain to us, this pain that you went through. And then, like puppets on your string, it's not even in there. I'm just giving a little bit of spoiler. She says in this part, puppets, puppets on your strings in your fucked up show is one of the coolest lines, and it's like, and it kind of sums it all. I was honestly gonna make the song Master of Puppets, but I thought now that I know that name's kind of already taken and overshadowed, so I like the other one that you said, how that we have shown is Savior to Villain. It's kind of like something that is really, really cool, because you go from saying a savior to my villain, and it's so subtle, but to me, it paints it perfectly, because anyone could be a savior, but you can only turn into my villain is what you're kind of saying, and that just it
Mhm.
just to me it's like perfect.
There's a lot of truth spoken into those lyrics. So when if people actually listen into it, actually kind of try picking it apart, then maybe they'll actually see further instead of just on what is kind of being spoken. What did you see coming out of this? Like
When I first
what was like the words?
well, like yeah, so like I said, I had this song kind of the beat, I should say. I had this song kind of sitting on a shelf
Mhm.
in terms, and one day I've been tinkering with it because I was gonna be singing on it. Um, but I couldn't think of the lyrics. I wasn't feeling anything, and so I needed to kind of jump out of the old kind of like rhythm of how I normally get stuff done. That's why I kind of called you in the mix. I was like, I would like to have someone that has no idea this, like really like not really know what to do, but has a story to tell. And that to me was like a different perspective of how to kind of get um something new out of it, a new experience, showing you something new that's probably fun. I hope it
Mhm.
was because
Yeah.
it was really fun for me to just like I was jumping with joy when we were making these things. They'd be like, "Oh, that's a cool line. Let's write that down. Let's write that down." Because I was almost starving of a new way of getting something kind of done like that, and that's what sparks
Mhm.
creativity and fun. And that's the whole part of being a musician is tapping into those little nuggets of something new. Would you
Okay.
honestly do this again? And if you would,
I would be down.
what would be another story? Doesn't have to be the same one.
Well, there's a lot of stories that I've told you from my life, even recent stories that I've told you that is heartbreaking to you. So I have a whole list of stories that I can share that I am open to sharing. Um,
Are
so,
we ever
I
gonna hear
mean,
you like do some rapping on a track? Would you ever want to go that route? Would you ever want to actually like sing or something? Like,
I might be willing to sing, but I'm very, I don't know, nervous to do so.
is there like what is probably the biggest thing you would want to say to the people that listen? Maybe again,
Uh,
out of this song. Like I know, like you said, once again, she's completely new to all of this. So, as someone who's new to all this, what would you say to someone who's probably maybe trying to do what in your shoes, trying to write something and release it to the world?
you're not alone. I know it probably may feel like you are, but you're not. No one's ever going to actually know what you've been through because they're not in your shoes. They're not in your mind, nothing. The only thing that they can kind of relate to on this is they've been through things like you have. So, I mean, just don't forget that you're not alone. Heartbreak happens. Things are going to get better. I mean, I've been through some serious heartbreak, as you will hear in the song, and not even everything was had came out in that song. There's probably gonna be part twos, part threes, part 50s of all of this shit. So,
Savior
you
to
know,
Villain, Part 5. Oh, that actually would be kind of crazy. Don't get me started, bro.
oh shit.
Yeah, that's actually some good things because, like you said, no one has been through what you have personally been through. And so to tell your story, the only way you can tell it is something to probably to be shared. And, like, to me, this is my therapy. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I've been writing some stuff and trying to really hone in on that kind of vibe with my own personal experiences on my own stuff. And it's interesting because it's a kind of like a constant battle of, do I really want to go this deep? Do I really want to rebubble these things? for at least for me, that's kind of like how it is. It's like, do I really want to go down this memory lane and try to explain to someone that's never been down? And it's like, of course I am. That's the whole point. Thank you, Julie, for hanging out and chatting with us. And then once again, formally thank you for being a part of this project and helping me.
No problem.
And we're both just in this ride together. So this has been very, very fun. There is going to be some small clips of more other stuff, music videos, lyric stuff. Once again, November 17th. Don't forget. But okay, guys, we are going to wrap things up. This has been the small interview with Julie. Once again, thank you, everyone.